What's up, y'all? This is Break the Norm Podcast with your host, Mr. Drive,
Absolute Beard.
where we are going to get you out of your norm.
That's right. Man,
What's up, guys?
What's up? He like the new
Check it-
setup.
Yeah,
Look at
dude.
this, man.
What do they think? What do y'all
I don't know.
think? Drop a comment. Let us
Yeah,
know.
make sure.
Send some messages. DM us.
So why did we change it? Why did we switch it up, man?
Well, we got a little bit of feedback from
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, we did.
Saying, why are y'all so far apart?
That and that the lighting was a little dark.
The lighting was dark.
Yeah.
We figured we wanted to show you guys more what we look like.
Yeah.
Show off these beautiful beards.
That's true. You
Yeah.
know, but this is our first go. We knew that we weren't going to nail it.
Oh yeah.
And
and we're
production.
going to
is-
make more changes.
Yeah.
We're going to paint the wall black.
Yeah, you'll
You
see
know,
that
we
coming up.
We love black. So.
Yeah, so we've got to learn from our experiences and our
Yeah.
efforts. So we appreciate the feedback. We're going to try this out. Let us know if this is a little bit better format. But yeah, so if we see us getting a little, uncomfortable, we're just trying to get used to the,
Because it's
sitting
kind of
so
like, do I
close
want
now.
to sit like this? Or do I kind of, you might see me go like this. I don't know what's going to happen on this podcast. This is a whole new
Yeah.
thing, but I'm liking it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm liking it.
Yeah. We're
you
not
know?
so far away. Like
We're not so far away.
Yeah.
They want to see us together. They want to see the beards.
The beards, man.
Yeah.
Two
They
beards,
love the
Two
beards.
beards, two mics. So what's new, man? Anything new coming up, going on? A little bit of this, a little bit of work.
I don't know. Actually, man, I don't really feel like a lot. Oh, I got my tattoo. I don't know if I put focus on
Yeah,
that.
you showed us last time.
I did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Damn.
badass.
So fuck, man. I need to get more ink. Damn.
Yeah, dude. It's been. I mean,
know.
last week was a week, man. I don't know about you, but or anyone watching or listening. It's just. Let me think, man. It was just some of those weeks, you're just kind of cruise control. Like nothing's really bad happening, nothing great's happening, but you're just like, I'm going through the motions.
April showers, dude. It's been raining a lot here.
Yeah. Well, then May flowers, right?
May flowers.
That's what
so
happens.
now
So
we're gonna
the
see it
blooming
blooming.
season.
Yeah.
I like it, but it's tough to find those weeks where like things are going awesome and things are just speeding along. You're getting projects, you're getting your workouts in, your diet's right, you're feeling good, everything from at home friendships are great, and then all of a sudden it's just like, man, like what's wrong? Like what's wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? Is there something that I'm not doing? I'm missing? I don't know, but for me, maybe it was just me, but it was a rough week, and you sort of have to take some time back and say like, man, okay, what is it do I need to refocus on? Is it myself or is it other areas? I don't know, man. So things are this is a different week, new week, and man, I'm feeling better. Things are on point.
Yeah, and I think too, like when May comes, it's like, like you said, May bloom.
Yeah.
It's like this is the time where like, man, you should be really getting on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like the taxes and stuff, the whole beginning, like January, February, and March, and then April, it's like the first like 4 months or whatever,
Yeah.
just kind of like you're coasting into the year, but then now you know that, man, dude, it's May and it's like about to be summer.
Yeah.
And you got to get on it, man. Like this
Yeah.
is the time, like, man, you got to start shining now, man, because
Yeah.
you don't want to end this year where it's, man, because I'm telling you, the end of this year will come by super quick. Once
Yeah.
May comes, it's like, man, it starts really flying because summer goes by quick because there's
does.
so much more going on.
Yeah.
And you're having a lot more fun. There's more things to do.
Yeah. I think now more people are ready to make the change,
Yeah.
or they've started to make the change, and they kind of. I'm gonna be
Some have, some haven't though, but there's still hope for those people.
Yeah, and I'm gonna I'm gonna be real, man. This is break the norm, so we're no holds barred. There are a lot of people who give up easy. There are a lot of people that look for the excuses. There are a lot of people that point the finger to something else, someone else, and both of us have probably experienced that a lot in our careers and our industry in itself. But more so now that I think people are, they want to make the change, right? They want to get, the summer bods ready. They want to get their health in check. But it's like, well, man, I know what I need to do. I'm like, okay, but why aren't you doing it? Yeah. Why aren't you taking, your diet seriously? Why aren't you making time for your workouts? Why aren't you, trying to balance more of your efforts? And then it's like, it comes down to a laundry list of, my job, or I'm just going to start Monday, or I just got to spend more time with the family. It's just always the and the thing is, the wells always go to, you just don't understand, right? And dude, that's one of my pet peeves, man. When people say that they don't you don't understand. I'm like, you've been there, right? You've been overweight.
Oh, yeah.
You've been skinny. You've been massive. You know, you've been everything. And I think a lot of people would just say, well, you don't know what it's like to walk in my shoes. And you're like, well, I kind of do, you know? And the thing is, when people say that, we take that, I take it harshly because I think, you know what? I don't know exactly what it's like to walk in your shoes, to be you, but I do know what defeat is. Yeah. I do know what depression is. I do know what loneliness is. I do know what, you know, doubt is. So those emotions I definitely can relate to, you know, and we can overcome that, but it's like, how? People always want to know like a step-by-step, like, you know, they want us to be like IKEA, come in with like step-by-step instructions.
Well, it's all gonna,
how to do it.
You're gonna have like somewhat of instructions, but you're not gonna have like, it's not gonna be laid out how mine were, because it's like we all start in different places in life. Yeah. Some people start, you know, like more overweight because, like, you know, like for instance, like weight loss, it's like, well, dude, your metabolism, you've always had a slow metabolism,
right?
So you're always going to struggle with gaining weight,
right?
Way more than somebody that has a super fast metabolism. You know what I mean? So they're going to have a little bit more of the easy street, you know, as far as that goes. But if they're wanting to put on a certain amount of muscle, they're still going to have to put in that work and fucking get after it. Right. It's just this person you might have to do more the harder way. You know, your instructions might be longer, I guess you could say,
right, than
this person's, you know, instructions in life. You know.
Well, that's the thing too. Is I mean, there is no sort of magic formula. You talk to like old school people, you know, maybe bodybuilders or mindset, and it's the same that holds true today. Hard work, right? Diet, it's being consistent, right, and being patient, honestly. But when, you know, we talk about instructions like what worked for me doesn't work for you. Well, how do you know that? You got to try it. It's trial and error, right? Yeah. Everyone's like, well, you know, my friend lost 20 pounds and, you know, so-and-so did this diet and they gained some muscle. And I'm like, well, it didn't work for me. And they're like, well, this sucks. It just doesn't work. I'm gonna give up, you know? And I'm like, well, let's try something else. That didn't work for you. You know, it's always about like how much effort you're going to put in. That really makes a difference and really makes it seem like, okay, I'm getting the grasp of what works for me. And let me tell you, man, like I'm a little older, so what worked for me last year doesn't even work for me this year. So there you go, man. Way more work. People are like, oh, well, you already know how to like get in shape. I'm like, yeah, dude, but it gets harder. Yeah. You got to put in more work, more time.
Well, it's like the same thing with a business. Like if you run a business, it's like, man, you think it's like the next year, like, oh, we can just do what we did, the same thing we did last year. It's like, no, not going to happen, dude. Mm-hmm. It's going to be way more challenges because you got to maintain that. Plus, you're trying to grow. You're trying to scale. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you can wake up the next day and it's like, whoa, shit's kind of like down. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? So now we got to go back to just how the hell can we get back to what we were doing, just maintaining it. It's like a freaking roller coaster, you know? Yeah. Up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah. There's a lot of struggles, man. But, you know, something that kind of like brought to my attention in a topic is being overlooked, man. And I'm talking about being overlooked in life and in your job, like you said, in business. You know, maybe your competitor being overlooked. And that has like some different meanings to whoever approaches that word in their way. Because think about it like growing up, like you're like have a business, you have a job, you're trying to work your ass off, you're trying to prove yourself at a young age. And you're putting in the hours, you're putting in the time, and maybe, you know, you're trying to get that promotion, trying to get that raise, and you just didn't get it. Yeah. And you're like, man, like, what did I do wrong? You know, why did I put in the work, right? I put in the effort. You know, my boss said, man, you're in line for a good, you know, pay raise or a good promotion, and you just didn't get it. And I know many people out there that just get so down and so disappointed. And I'm like, so what are you going to do with that? You know, what are you going to do with that response? You're going to be bitter about it or are you going to be better about it? You know, and that's only the two options you can do. Yeah. But, you know, when it comes to being overlooked, you know, competitively, you know, anything from bodybuilding to physique to powerlifting, it's like, well, like they just, you know, I got overlooked. I hear that a lot, you know, in our industry. I got overlooked. I'm like, yeah, but did you? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, did you put in the work?
Yeah, you didn't put in the work.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what it all comes back down to is, are you putting in the work? Like, are you really dedicated to your craft? Are you really putting in all your effort instead of saying, well, you got to understand this, or but, you know, you got to understand this. I'm like, no. There's someone that is going to find a way. There's someone who's going to find the time, more time. And I think that's what I see more of in our line of industry and in the people that, you know, sort of come and it's just like, Well, I tried it and it didn't work. And I asked them, well, how long did you try it for? Like, oh, a few weeks. And I'm like, well, a few weeks, and how long did it take you to get here?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Years. And you ask anybody that's successfully in business, they're going to say the same thing. Like, you ask yourself, well, dude, I've been doing this 13 years, I've been doing this X amount of years, and it like just didn't happen overnight, So, hard work comes in like phases, right? I mean, people like are born into things that are already sort of, I don't want to say handed to them, but they're born on a different level, And then there's others that have to work hard. They're like, well, I didn't have that upbringing of maybe two parents. Or I didn't have that upbringing of job security or schooling.
Or just like a technique that their like parent taught them.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like let's just say like it could be anything. Like it could be like welding or something. You know what I mean? It's like like they learned a lot of that through a young age.
Right.
So they have a higher skill set than you because they've been doing it their whole life.
Yeah.
So now they're just already here. So it just depends. I think a lot of times, man, it depends on people's childhoods too, man. Like how you were raised and who raised you, and what family were you born into?
Right.
You know what I mean? But I also think that a lot of people use that as an excuse.
Oh yeah.
Or because either for, let's say for instance, your parents are in the, let's say poor class or middle class, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, a lot of kids will think that this is the highest that I can live. This is the highest standard of life that I can live. And you don't push yourselves to go past that because you're brought into this lifestyle.
Right.
So you think this is it. This is all I can achieve because I'm looking up to my parents and family and friends and the circle around me. And it's like, no, man, like if you really want it, you can have much more than that. Don't let that hold you back from, getting more in life,
right.
And then again, there's some people that are born into a very wealthy family where it's like, well, dude, they were taught though this how they learn, at least for the most part, you know what I mean? And it's all like, so they have that extra stepping stone, but some of those, like some people like that, they don't still fall off, you know what I mean? You just don't know,
Yeah.
It's all, but that's where it gets back to, it's like, well, dude, it still comes down to just putting in that work,
right?
Because you can't say like, well, every kid that came from a wealthy family is like they're set for life. It's like, nah, a lot of them fuck off because they had everything handed to them, and then they don't know what to do because it's always been handed to them, and then they just fuck off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Go party and shit like that instead. You know,
I think a lot of people think it's those sort of class of people have the advantage, right? Well, they have an advantage because fill in the blank.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna have the advantage, but that's and it's like, hey, it is what it is.
Right.
It
is what it is. But then you think, what can you do? I mean, do you really want it? And that's the thing is, whatever you want in life, if you want to get out of a economic situation, financial situation, you want to like better yourself physically or spiritually, man, you gotta do the work. And what amazes me is how many times life's gonna hit you, man. Life hits you like all the time, man. And I think that's when I made my opening remarks, I got hit a couple of times last week, man. I just was like down. I couldn't really gather my thoughts. Like my body was here, but my mind was like, oh man, dude, like I couldn't focus.
Yeah.
So we all go through it, and I sort of, I take a step back and sort of tell those people that are in my circle, hey man, like I'm in a bad spot right now, or I just need a little bit of time. And then you think, well, dude, are you okay? Like what's wrong? And sometimes you just don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You just want to like regather, because when you're trying to build your business, when you're trying to motivate people, when you're trying to excel in your own physical well-being and spiritual well-being, dude, it's draining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so everybody needs that recharge system. Everybody needs something or someone or a combination of both to say, man, this is what I need to sort of reset. And if you're like in a tornado of events and feelings and emotions, and you can't separate that, you don't know really what to focus on.
Yeah.
So the same thing is like, being overlooked. It's like, well, I can be overlooked. I can just stand in the middle of the tornado. I can stand in the middle of the mess and just sort of look at things and be like, fuck, like, there goes that. There goes my relationship. There goes my business. There goes, my diet. And then just be like, well, what am I doing to grasp it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's important? You got to start building that totem pole of importance. And I'm like, well, to me, and you would probably agree, is putting yourself first, right?
Yeah.
I mean, being selfish enough to say, look, I got to work on me.
Especially in the beginning of life.
Because if I'm not happy, or if I'm not satisfied, dude, my business suffers, my relationship suffers, my friendships suffer. So people are like, dude, you know, like if you can fake it for so long, but sometimes, man, and that's what we talked about last episode. If you have that real person that knows you, they're gonna call you out and be like, man, dude, you're not in a good place, man. Like, what's going on?
And then too, what I mean by too, like in the beginning of life, it's like after high school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, not when you came down, baby, just in case some of y'all got confused on that. But you know what I mean? It's like, because you in the beginning, you have to be selfish. And the reason why a lot of people, when they're in 18, 20s, early 20s and stuff, the reason why a lot of y'all, by the time you get into your 30s, you're so far behind is because you weren't selfish right out of high school. You didn't focus on you.
Right.
Because you've always been taught, I go to school from this time to this time, and when that's over, that's it.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing this. I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about this. I don't have as many problems. I don't have to worry about bills or paying taxes. You don't have to worry about all that. But that's why when you come out of high school, man, the first thing you need to be about, dude, am I going to school or am I going to go start making money? Which one is it going to be, or both? Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's when the time that you need to be selfish, and that's where, like, I hate to say this,
say it.
But a lot of y'all get into relationship way too fucking soon, and you haven't figured out life yet, but you have this figured out. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
And then what happens? You have a kid. And then what happens? Everything in your life that you were planning on, you kind of had an idea, now stops.
Right.
And then, and then all of a sudden you start going into a whole other direction, and before you know it, you're in your 30s and you're like fucking total dad bod, total fucking like everything is fucked around me. And you can still get yourself out. There's always time to get out. I don't want to say like, oh, y'all are fucked, all the ones out there. You still always have time. But what I'm saying to the younger listeners, if you're listening out there, just make sure, man, you get your shit together and you're on your path and no distractions. It could be anything. Don't let anything. It's like even your parents are going to distract you from your path.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to like tell them like, sorry, man, I'm going this way, man. Mm-hmm. When I get to here, cool, man. Well, then I'll be there. But right now, basically what I'm saying is like being selfish, man. You gotta be selfish, and it's just the way it is. Yeah. You know, some people can do both, and then it works out.
Right.
But a lot of people, man, it doesn't work out. Because I talk to a lot of people. I have a lot of clients. I've talked to a lot of you guys on the phone. I've talked to you guys a lot of these at these fitness expos. I've talked to a lot of you guys, and that's always the thing that I always hear with every single one of you. And I'm like, well, dude, man. What do you expect? That's what happens, man. You're not being selfish in the beginning of your life, you know?
And then, you know, it's the response, man. It's like, okay, so you're here now, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? Yeah. You're going to sit there and regret about every decision you made after high school?
Yeah, and you can't sit there and regret all those things. Yeah. You just got to say like, all right, well, that all happened. It is what it is. We got it out on the table.
Yeah.
Okay, we know what got you to where you are. We get it. So now, what do you do? And it's going to be harder for you than when you were 18 years old.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing too. I mean, we're not saying that, you know, kids aren't blessings and great things. You have an understanding of what you want your life to be. And you have, you know, everyone in high school, man, I'm going to either go to college or I'm going to go work for my dad or go work for this company. And then all of a sudden, you know, maybe a relationship happens and it just steers you in a different direction.
Which is fine,
It's great.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I'm just getting that with the relationship, and then what typically happens. Right. You know what I mean? It happens often. It happens a lot. You know, I mean, you can't tell me you haven't met somebody who's like, dude, what the fuck, man? You just threw your whole life away. You know? And not just because of a kid, it could be like multiple things, but that's what typically how it goes, you know?
It does. And then, you know, you're finding yourself, so again, if that happens, then what? It's like, okay, your 30s, okay, now I can start working on myself, right? You should be like, okay, well, I mean, I got through that rough patch. I got through the struggle. You know, I made it out in the outcome, you know, so now it's time for me. You know,
well, the good thing is you're still alive.
And you still have time. I mean, people look, I mean, dude, people are 70, 80 years old still doing stuff. And they're like, well, you know, I can't do what I used to do when I was young. I'm like, well, yeah, you're not going to bench press 405, you know, but you can still work out. You know, you can still be active. You can still work on yourself. And that becomes, again, those excuses you're talking about. It's like there's just so many wells and buts. And I just get tired of hearing it because it's like, we've done it, you know, and like, yeah, dude, it sucks. It sucks to like constantly get thrown off your path. Yeah, you know, if your business isn't going right, maybe you missed a meal, maybe you got in an argument with your partner, and it's like, man, dude, it's like, well, man, I lost this day. So what? Okay, you lost a day, man. You're gonna let that turn into another day, another week, another month, until you stop complaining and actually doing. You know, I just hear so many more complaints these days about, you know, well, it's, you know, you know how to do it, or you've already been there, and it's like, yeah, but it doesn't mean that I'm still not learning.
Yeah.
You know, and I keep using the word overlooked, and I say overlooked because we all do what we think is the right thing, right? Mm-hmm. We think that, like, okay, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to get, you know, my degree. Maybe I go to college. Maybe I get a good job. You know, that's the right thing to do. But man, it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, society puts that sort of stamp or label on you, like, well, you didn't go to college? Well, why not? You know?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to make money. Okay, well, you know, don't fault me for that. You know, maybe I wasn't in a position. So everything that looks at your credentials is like, well, you didn't even finish school, or you didn't do that. Not to say, I mean, I did, but I'm just saying everyone has that, you know, expectation, and their parents have that expectation of you, like, wow, man, I wish my kid went to school. And I'm like, why though? Yeah. You know, I mean, if that's not in their path, I feel like parents need to sort of adjust and adapt, because again, we all have this vision, and you're going through life thinking, man, like, where did I go wrong, or where did I go back in time? If I could, where could it steer, you know, the direction? I think people get wrapped up in that past experience, and I'm like, so what, man? Like, this is yourself now. You're fucking alive. You're breathing. You have your health. You have, you know, your parents, your friends, you know, a loved one. And like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing complaining about that?
Yeah.
What are you doing complaining about the small shit that doesn't even really matter? And you're sitting there complaining like you can't eat 3 meals a day. You know what I mean? You can't go walk for 20 minutes. You can't do this and that. You can't do the little things to be selfish enough to improve yourself, so that the others around you.
3 times a day anyways. You might as well just make the smarter choice.
You can, you know, and that's what I'm saying. We keep talking about previous topics like growth. It's like, well, how do you know if you're growing, man? Well, because you're doing. Like, people can see that, right?
And you really start knowing you're growing when other people start noticing.
Oh, definitely.
When people start noticing, and you'll know, because they'll come out of the woodworks. Like, they'll just fucking come out, and you'll be all like, oh shit, you know. And then that's when you really know you're on it. And you're like, damn, man, if I just keep doing what I'm doing, but if not even push even harder, fuck, there's no stopping.
Right.
You know when you're doing shit, and then too at the same sentence, it's like, fuck what everybody says.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck if anybody says anything? Fuck them. They don't have to fucking say anything. You should just be doing it for you.
Right.
You shouldn't even be worrying about, well, I guess I'm gonna wait until somebody says I'm doing it right. And it's like, well, it ain't gonna happen, dude. I'd get that out of your head anyway.
That goes back to, you know, like I said, being overlooked. Like, people have a job and people want to do the right things, and people expect that praise and recognition. That a boy, Chad. That a boy. That a way to go get him. You know, I'm like, well, if you don't get that, then what? You're gonna quit?
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna quit and say, oh, well, no one's noticing.
Well, they're gonna say
work.
I have haters. Nobody has haters. Like, that's just so stupid that people are like, oh, he's a hater. It's like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. I look at hating such a weird thing. I'm like, it's more of a like, dude, that person's hating because they might just be lost in life.
Yeah, absolutely.
They may just need some direction, man. It's like, dude, or they might have had a bad day when they commented that, or whatever, dude. Or like, maybe there's a little bit of jealousy there too. You know what I mean?
I think all of the above. I think when people speak out of anger and emotion, it becomes, you know, like they stop themselves. They wish they could stop themselves before they said it. They say it too soon.
Because most people most people are like, damn, I wish I would have been like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, most people are like, man, why do I have to even say that? Like, what was the point in that?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I always think it's funny when you see people, like when people post or whatever, and you kind of like scroll through some of the comments, and then you see all the hating stuff. And you're like, I mean, what's the point? You know, at that point, you know, there's never.
It's an attention grabber.
Yeah.
It's
I bet you a lot of those are like people make fake accounts just to go around talking shit.
But again,
it could be like Trump with a fake account. He's all like, "Talk shit, fuck you, man."
but it does stop you in your tracks. Yeah. When you have a negative comment, or you have a negative hater, or you don't get the recognition, or you don't get the praise, right? It stops you, because again, that's my point. It's like, well, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? Like, why is this person taking the time out of their day to feel the need to tell me whatever they need to tell me in a negative fashion. And then again, your response, is it bitter? Is it the same level or even worse? Because you're like, oh, I'm going to teach this person a lesson. Or you brush it off with positive and you're like, you know what, I'm going to be better because thank you. You know, I'm going to say thank you for telling me that. I appreciate that. You know, keep having a good day.
Because it might be whatever they are saying might be the truth. They might have said it in a way that like, damn, that was pretty harsh. But some of that like hate could be like, I don't know, man. Are they hating? Because they could be speaking the truth about you too. Because I've taken that when it comes to hating. You know what I mean? Like, is that like it could easily well be that maybe they're telling you the truth. They're just saying it in a fucked up way.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's like I think about that too. I'm like, man, fuck. Maybe they're not hating.
Right?
Maybe that's true.
Maybe that's just the only person that's being real.
Yeah, he's just being the real. He just said it in a harsh, you know. It's like, oh, damn, dude, you didn't have to say it like that. Like, should have just DM me, you know, send me a message.
It's off to the side, you know. Let's make it public.
Pull me over, man. Like, just say, hey, man, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You look like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, well, fuck.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You know, right? You're right. I was. I mean, I did.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's funny, man. People take those to heart, you know, and it's crazy because they'll take those to heart, but not a positive compliment to heart. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I know that's always the one. Like you could be positive. You're like this person, like, dude, you fucking suck. Boom, roasted.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all like, you're like,
all right. What the hell? Where did that come from? You know, how did that happen?
Like, how did that guy? What's up with that? Like, I mean, you just don't know. It's like,
I don't know, man. So you know, it comes back down, like, you know, we talked about having the decisions made. You know, like life isn't planned, man. We're still learning about life, and man, the struggles are real, man. Big time. Like having the understanding of what you've been through in your past is always going to give you a better perception of the future, right? Yeah. And so we're living in the present, and you know, those people are like, man, you always gotta live for today, and it's easier said than done. Trust me, it's a lot easier said than done to just stop and be like, man, what am I thankful for today? Like, what am I grateful for today? Like, am I, you know, hey, man, we're doing another podcast. Yeah. You know, I got, you know, my life in order, man. I had a shitty week last week. I'm having a better week this week, man. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful through, you know, the storm that I could actually see what areas of my life I need to like stop and think, you know what, I need to get more attention here. I need to get less attention here, and really sort of balance it. And I think that's hard for people to do because they're constantly on the go. Yeah. You know, they're constantly, well, man, y'all are telling me like just don't quit and don't give up. And, you know, I'm not, you know, and not to be selfish, you know, but it's like, yeah, dude, but I mean, we're not saying like leave everything behind and start like, you know, just doing your own thing. You gotta make those baby steps. Yeah. You know, you gotta take those people that are gonna have been there to support you in the beginning and say, well, you know what, this is what I'm doing now. This is a new improved me. Yeah. You know, and if you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. I don't really care. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna do my own thing. Exactly. You know, so, you know.
One time, too, like, you know, let's say, I'll take social media, for instance, because it's like what I do and stuff. Yeah. But like, you know, it's very hard. I've been getting this like lately from some people messaging me, just asking what they want to do with, like, how can, you know, just questions about their account, their Instagram accounts or Facebook accounts, whatever. And like they want to grow their page, you know, and then it's like it's very difficult with social media because like the problem is, man, is you got to get all your insecurities out. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's gonna fuck with you, man. Because when you post a picture and you're gonna get some like, you know, some bad talk, or someone's gonna point something out, or maybe you know it because you know your weak area. Yeah. You're afraid that someone's gonna call you out on that. Yeah. You know, and it's like I feel like a lot of people like they try to find like a direction with their social media, like where can I go with this? Right. What direction I go? I'm like, man, and I always tell people, like, dude, man, you just gotta fucking just put it out there and not give a fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? And just be like, dude, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You know what I mean? Nobody likes it. Nobody plays it. It's like, okay. And then exactly at the end of the day, man, you can always just delete it.
Yeah, just delete that comment, you know, and just go about your
day. Or
even
delete that post because maybe you're like, all right, well, that wasn't good. You know what I mean? It's like, I think people are like, you know, they just get scared to just start and do something.
You just keep scrolling, man. You keep scrolling. Yeah. You know, but social media has changed the way, and put more fear in people and put more doubt.
Oh, yeah.
And more insecurity and less self-confidence. And I mean, people are like, man, you know, I mean, trust me, dude, even for me, like, I have people always say, man, why don't you post more like your workouts and stuff? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really have a reason other than it's like takes away from my workout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a cameraman full time to say, man, let's get this snapshot of you. Let's get this video and post it up. Because anyone who has a good account knows it's like a part-time job.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me get my caption. Let me get the right picture. Let me get the right
especially
angle.
Especially people that have massive.
Oh man,
dude, that's like a full time. That's like, but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And you have to it's like anything, man. And anything that you're trying to start, you have to start somewhere. It's just like working out. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And then it's just like when you first walked into the gym and you see this one dude fucking huge and has a badass training partner, and you're like, yeah, man, but see, he's got the training partner. I need the training partner like that. And it's like, well, dude, but he probably didn't start off with the training partner, dude. Like, once he got to the point where he built himself up so much and being in the gym a lot, he met that person. And then a lot of times, because that's what kind of happened with me. I used to train with a guy, Ryan, and he was younger than me, but he also, he looked up to me because I was like, competing and bodybuilding and stuff like that. He's like, fuck, I want to get like this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, man, come on, And then you meet people like that and stuff, but it's like, and then you have a training partner the whole way through your 16-week prep, and that's a game changer.
Yeah, it is.
When you're training for a bodybuilding show and you have a training partner, it's a total game changer.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like both serious and you're both on.
Oh yeah, man.
It's a total game changer.
It's hard to find, man.
It's hard to find,
But it is, and then going back to the social media comment. I mean, that's again, the word of the day is being overlooked because people will put so much effort into like a post or like something on their story, and then they'll say, "Oh, man, only like 2 people liked it, or only like 500 people liked it instead of like 1,000." I'm like, so what am I doing wrong? Like, why aren't people looking at me? And I'm like, well, I mean, what are you doing differently?
Yeah.
Because you scroll and you see like, oh man, there's a guy, there's a girl, they look good, they're doing a workout.
Yeah.
Okay, are you really gonna stop? Like, man, this guy, man, I'm gonna follow this guy's routine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I always tell people educate.
Yeah, dude.
When you educate, when you put out something that's going to be more educational, then you're giving people something to do, to use.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, because if you're just always just posting like with your shirt off and just always like, oh, I work out, and so you want to start selling online training.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Like, there's tons of people doing that. Fuck, I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but what you have to do is you have to start educating your audience. So whether it's fucking 10 people or 5,000 people or 1 million people, you have to fucking entertain them and educate them in a way that nobody else is, and you got to come up with stuff and educate them. You know what I mean? Because like, no one's just gonna fucking just like give you money or give you anything because you look good.
Yeah.
There's
there's a lot of people that do that.
There are some out there like that, don't get me wrong, but that's very few thin. You know what I mean? That's not like reality though, man. Like, it's very hard to accomplish and do that. It blows my mind when I see people, I'm like, how the fuck, like, really? Yeah. But when you educate, man, and you bring value, and that's the same thing when you want to start a business or anything you want to do, it's like, but how does this help somebody?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, how does it help? If it can help some people, dude, it's like never ending, but you gotta like start learning how to help people. It's kind of like you with the personal training. Well, it's like, well, what does he do? It's like, well, he basically helps people, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's funny because when I used to run a corporate gym and hire trainers, the number one question I would ask them is, why do you want to become a personal trainer? And 9 times, if not 10, they're like, well, I want to help people.
Yeah.
And then my follow-up question is like, you're gonna help people for free? And they're like, no, I want to get paid for it. I'm like, okay, so you want to make money.
Yeah.
That's what you want to get in the business for.
Yeah.
So, but like to your point, when you have a sincere understanding and educate people, that shows through that because you have a lineup of trainers, right? And you have like 5 or 6 people. What's going to make you different from everyone else? Well, I mean, I don't care about the acronyms. I don't know. I'm so-and-so certified. I've done X amount of shows. Okay, but how do I relate to you? Like, maybe I need someone to yell at my face. Yeah. Maybe I need a boot camp style. Maybe I need someone a little bit more patience. Yeah. You just don't know until you try it out.
I remember when I first started, like, with the online, going more online and, like, showing my workouts and stuff like that, I never asked anybody for money. Or like, you know what I mean? I never was selling anything.
Right.
Because I was like, well, I'm just showing you me and what my lifestyle, and I want to give you that. I want to show you that and hope that it motivates you. And then you can learn from it. And then maybe you can show me some things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I got it. That's how I fell into the business. And then, of course, obviously now, you get paid to motivate and help people,
Right.
basically. And it's like, and that's the same thing with the clothing. The clothing is the same thing. It's more to help people and push
Right.
them. So when you wear the shirt, you feel like that's what I'm going through right now. And I love this. It's like me wearing the lone wolf. Like right now I'm a lone wolf. I'm just out here all alone, doing my own thing, just fucking out here.
Yeah.
So when I put this shirt on, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm out, I'm fucking lone, I'm lone wolfing it today. You know what I mean? But like, I'm just back to a point though, of just like, always think about how am I helping the person that I truly want to help. It's like, you got to like really truly want it, man.
Yeah.
You can't just help just because you want to make money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, because if that's the case, it's like, dude, you're not going to probably do good.
The money will come.
The money will come if you're sincere enough, I think, and you actually care.
Absolutely.
But I think the money will come for a short period of time. Like, it'll come in, you'll probably get a good chunk, but it won't be longevity. It won't last forever.
Yeah.
It won't always be there. You could just start off with making none and then just make some and some and some, and then before you know it, it's like boom.
You're just rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably off topic, but you said like caring people. Like I was talking to a good buddy of mine about caring too much. You know what I mean? Like there's people that care overboard, and I'm like, wait, especially in the training industry, because you have those people that ask 10 million questions all up front, and then each day it's like another five, and you think like, man, okay, I want to help. I'm trying to be patient, trying to care. But sometimes they just need to learn from experience. It's like, I feel like my portion is like the training wheels of a bike. It's like, I'm just there to get you going. Like you need me to kind of get you going. And then once you're good, man, take them off, dude. You're on your own. Because my goal is to help you give that information and motivation to someone else.
See, that's how I used to be a lot in personal training. I would my goal was eventually get them on their own.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I mean? Which is fucking crazy to say that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, why would you want them to go on their own? They're not making any more money. It's like, well, because I want to see that. It's like fucking putting a kid on a bicycle with training wheels. And it's like, well, dude, hopefully one day we don't have to put the training wheels on and I don't have to keep pushing you. And you can just go do this on your own.
And
because then the next kid's going to come around and you're going to help him and you're going to help him. And that's the whole point of you're just helping people and it's have that more of a mindset. And that's like, but that's any business. So it's like, it's not, we talk about the training and stuff because
what we do.
Or I bring up the clothing because that's what I do. But like, it's like that with any business, man. If you could just help people, and how is this business helping?
Right.
And if you are trying to grow your social media, how is this helping people though?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how is it helping someone get through the day to day? Because somebody, whatever you say, you might, dude, I've done this for a long time. I've posted stuff and said stuff that literally people will message me like, dude, I can't tell you how much I needed to hear that today. That just changed the rest of my outlook in life.
Right.
Or for the today and in life. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, game changer. And it's like, that's an awesome feeling,
But you did that because you weren't afraid of response.
I wasn't afraid of response. Or a lot of times when I do post something, it's because I'm going through it.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean? So that motivation that I might be writing or speaking, it's like, dude, I'm not saying every time. People think like, because I'll be saying something like, oh man, are you okay? Is everything fine? It's like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. You're probably not fine, but I'm fine, dude. Like, I'm just saying that because it just happened to be on my mind because I saw somebody else going through it. Or I'm just like, well, you know what? Some people probably are going through this right now.
And I think that's what separates people from, the real and the fakes. And it's just like, well, I'm going through this. I don't mind sharing my failures or my trials and tests, man. And I'll tell you what, man, I mean, I'm a man of faith, man. I'm spiritually, sound. And, that's just been a long journey too. But man, when you get down and, all these topics we're talking about, the fear, the being overlooked, the doubt, man, that to me is the enemy always trying to like take something away from you. When things are going good, man, there's always, man, three more enemies that are trying to like take you down. And the thing is, it's hard to trust, and that could be something later we talk about, but trusting not only in yourself, man, I trust the Lord. I trust, your gut. You trust, maybe you trust your friend, maybe you trust your spouse, maybe you just need to hear, like you said, people need to be more outspoken to what they're going through, because like you said, every trial and test is building those foundation blocks to make you stronger and better. That's what my belief is. And it's hard because when you're, like I use the example in the tornado, man, like when you're in there, man, it's hard to like reach out your hand. And this, me personally, I'm never, I used to be more of a prideful person. I'm like, man, I'm not going to ask for help. You know, like I'll get through it. You know, I should be okay. Let me get through a day, let me get two, and like, man, like it was a week, and here I am. I probably would never have said I went through a shitty week last week.
Yeah.
You know, like what? I mean, okay, I did. So what, man? But it was hard for me to grasp a hand and say, man, who are those people that really notice? First of all, that you're off your game or you're not being yourself, and then really willing to say, hey, man, like Chad, I'll grab my hand, man. Like let's go talk. Yeah. Let's take a time out. You know, and it's really hard to trust. You know, people, because you're like, well, I don't really want to hear your point of view. I don't really want to hear your advice.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to fucking speak my thoughts and my emotions at this time, because that's all I really need. You know, there's people that are like, well, man, I know what you're going through. No, you don't, man. That goes back to my understanding. You don't really know what I'm going through. But when you say, like, when you just let me voice my opinion or voice my feelings and thoughts, sometimes you're doing that alone will already figure things out. Like, you're like, man, that just sounded dumb. Like, I know what I need to do now. You know what I mean? So when people are more, I guess, trusting in whatever, if it's, you know, faith bound, if it's friend or if it's spouse, you gotta learn to trust, man. And that's a hard thing to do, because, man, like, you know,
well, you gotta earn trust.
I don't know anybody who hasn't been burned or you know, dishonest with and you know, just sort of like, man, I trusted this person and then just let me down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's hard to rebuild that within yourself and with others.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the earning the trust, man. That's probably like, that's what sucks, man, about trust, man. Especially if you have an open heart, like, you know, like me, man, I'm very open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm very open,
Yeah.
man. So it's like, sometimes it's easy to take advantage of it. You know what I mean? Where like, I'm thinking, like, not on everything, like I'm pretty tight with things, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like when you're more of an open book, people will definitely take advantage of you. When you're like, well, damn, man, I was saying that because I just thought we were being open, you know, I trusted you.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, man, we learn that as we get older. You're like, fuck, man, I can't believe I said that. Like, I was just trusting everybody in the room at that moment. It's like, I mean, probably should have just sat back.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the saying goes, man, the loudest person in the room is the weakest person in the room.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Sometimes being too loud is not so good.
All bark, you know, no bite, man. And it comes down to, like, you know, people want to be more outspoken. I think it's just who they're speaking to, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, who am I speaking to? Like, just, you know, not to say that everyone's got to be like a motivational speaker and, you know, go out there and do it, but when you're winning,
could be anything. That could be like, you don't own a roofing company. It's like, well, how are you treating the people that you're collecting the money from? Like, how are you, like, do you actually care about fixing their roof? Like, and if something goes wrong, are you willing to come back out there and fix it and not be like, well, that's going to be another $100 charge? It's like, God damn, man, you're fucking just picking them away. Like, you can't just fix that real quick for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's any business, man. It's how you treat people.
It's true, man.
You know what I mean?
It's
and
true.
how you, and again, how are you helping people?
And
you actually care about helping them, you know?
And a good buddy of mine, Chris, man, he does like some handiwork. I think he worked for a roofing company. Point being is that, you know, he put something on his store and he was like, you know what, I just really went out of my way. I did some small jobs, and those people saw how much he cared for them, right? And his business turned around, like, man, they told a neighbor, they told someone else, man. They're like, man, this guy like does good work, and he really cares about you. And he's not gonna overcharge. He's gonna be really upfront. And dude, I'm like, dude, kudos to you, man. That's awesome.
That's how you just start lining up work.
Yeah,
especially in that type of like.
Well, I mean, in the service industry, I mean, you know, this customers. You know, you got to earn their trust. You know, and everyone's trusting up front. Like, if anybody I meet up front, 100% of my trust, 100%. It's like, okay, I'm going to see if you've, you know, earned it, because it's going to downgrade. Well, you lost about 20% on me. You know, I kind of trust you, but not as much as I did. You know what I mean? So it's your actions or lack thereof. They really dictate like how much effort I'm going to really put into this. You know, friendship, working relationship, whatever. I mean, you can trust colleagues, like, oh, people at work, like, I don't trust, you know, Claire from accounting, or I don't trust Bill from, you know, marketing, because they do a little something. Oh, okay, dude, you don't have to trust them. You still got to work with them, right? You know, so you gotta do what you got to do to like get through, you know, the bigger picture. And that's always going to be the bigger picture when you look at, you know, why am I going through these things? What's pulling me in a different direction? So, man, it's been real.
Good topic.
Yeah, we could probably go on. I know we kind of rambled a little bit, man, but there's a lot of stuff that I think that, you know, we hit on, and you know, really the bottom line is, what we preach, we do ourselves. It's not like we're telling people or people listening and watching like, oh man, these guys don't know what they're talking about. Like, we're we're open books. You know, we're real as they can be. Sometimes, you know, it could be too real, but you know, we all go through those struggles and trials and tests. And thing is, man, you're not alone. Like nobody is alone. Like everyone is going through something that you can relate to, and it could be like the least person that you expected. And like, man, dude, I needed to hear that today. You know, and if it's not us, dude, then find someone. You know, I mean, just keep looking, keep searching, and you know, the biggest outlook is you. Be grateful and be understanding of like appreciative of what you have now, because dude, life is too precious, man. You know, and you don't want to make those mistakes out of anger emotions. So, you know, make it count.
Yep.
Make it count.
I agree, man. So, but also too, guys, make sure try to watch the videos. We need them watching.
Yeah.
We need them watching.
So YouTube, BTN podcasts, Instagram BTN_podcast. There's a link tree on there to kind of just our Instagrams, our video guy Raul, Badass, just anything that you want to see, more content, different topics. Let us know what you think about the new setup. Like I said, more things are coming up in store as far as production side, awesome topics. So we definitely need your like and subscription to it.
The more views we get, the more we can keep doing it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because we need that feedback from you guys, and we need those views to be able to keep doing this and listens, you know?
And pretty soon, man, we're going to have
tell your friends, tell your family, like, hey, give us a shot, man.
Give us
like,
a shot, man. We'll have some guests and we'll have some speakers, man, come on.
It's only getting better. Like, eventually we'll have some guests, and we'll start bringing on some more people, you know.
Yeah.
We're going to bring in some cool things. We got some good things in the works. We
absolutely.
just, you know, but we need y'all to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to watch.
Got to watch,
or listen,
man.
Just listen.
Yeah. And listen closely sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, stay blessed.
Stay driven.
And always break the norm.